choose your superpower. We're starting with 4 random superpowers, and you've got to decide which one's the best. Starting now. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dough generation, number 1. The power to generate dough. Subpower of dough manipulation. Variation of food generation. Okay. Number 2. Mathematics physiology. The power to use the abilities of mathematical figures. Better than number 1. Wire proficiency. The ability to be a master of wielding wires. This one actually has a significant amount of potential, let's be totally honest here. All right, furniture creation. The ability to create furniture. Subpower of furniture manipulation. Variation of object creation. Okay, any creation powers are automatically super powerful because all you're really limited by is your imagination. As far as, okay, what kind of furniture can you create? Dude, all right. So let's go with off the top of my head, which one would I pick? / which one is the best? Furniture creation. I'm going to be totally honest. Furniture creation. I know you're probably thinking wrong. You're probably thinking, no, that's completely wrong. Mathematics, mimicry, that's really super powerful. Wire proficiency, come on. How many times have you seen incredible anime characters use wires in all kinds of different ways? I mean, realistically, yeah, wire proficiency. This is not wire manipulation, which would be a higher tier of this and realistically would allow you to, I think, make a lot of like wire constructs and like clones and all that kind of stuff. This is more or less just we're good at this weapon. Now again, there's a lot of potential for this, and just from these 3, I would probably go with wire proficiency. I would realistically, I would probably go with wire proficiency. Mathematics mimicry does not have a lot of potential for me. Just seems like a very weird. It seems like a super weird thing that I don't really understand. But let's get into these 3 before we get into the best one. The user with this ability for mathematics mimicry can mimic transform into mathematical figures. Users' transformed form can be anatomically identical to their normal form, aside from being made of mathematical figures, in which case it contains all the organs, and is somewhat vulnerable to attacks. Alternately, a user can transform into homogeneous matter without any part of their living form being more important than the other. They are able to warp the laws of physics or transforming themselves based on the arithmetic or geometric function or form they assume. Due to the fact that this power is mathematically based, the user is likely master of numerical precision and mathematics manipulation. No. Can't assume that. That's not a piece of it. So these 2 powers, mathematics manipulation, is wildly, insanely powerful, but that doesn't count. That's not in there. I'm going to be completely honest here. This is like, this is saying like, okay, the applications in here, quantum manipulation, quantity physics, no, none of these are all completely incorrect. Nothingness manipulation by turning into a minus sign? No. Wrong. No. You're just a sentient mathematical equation. Use the ability of mathematical... Okay, actually, you know what? Hang on. I'm reading the wrong thing here. Mathematics physiology, this is what's throwing me off. This right here is incorrect. That's not what the actual power is. The power is mathematics mimicry. Use the abilities of mathematical figures. Okay. Now we're actually getting into something really interesting because this potentially you could basically use the ability of math. So you could basically go, okay, I'm going to use the power of a physics formula and like create force. Like, okay, I'm going to sigma fma my way to, smacking somebody in the face with, 200,000 newtons. Yeah, and just knock them into the sun. That's totally possible. Okay, so this is a poorly written article, but actually a really good power. Yeah, so I still am gonna go with my initial. We're gonna say that's a rule. I have to go with my initial and defend that. Doe generation, come on, and like let's try to give this the best thing that we can, but realistically, the user can create all manner of dough. Okay, dough generation. Okay, so it's kind of this rolls in a similar manner with furniture creation, which is okay. All creation powers are realistically only limited by your own imagination, but dough generation just seems. I feel like there's a little bit too much. There's too much caught up in it, and yeah, the power to generate dough. That to me literally feels like okay, like you can like just kind of grow dough out of your hands. Yeah, the way you would use this the best would be okay, I can create magic dough. This magic dough gives me, plus 10 strength and all of that type of stuff. That's all. That's a possibility. Can't control generated dough. That is a limitation. And again, you would then potentially be putting yourself in a position of, slavery. If somebody captures you and maybe you can't get out of it, yeah, that's a potential. But I mean, again, that's just sort of be smarter about it. So actually, this is an interesting thing. So the thing that I initially thought was going to be pretty good and that I was going to give the best explanation for and going to defend the most, wire proficiency, is actually probably the weakest. And in fact, it's definitely the weakest out of all of these. Dough generation comes in third. Mathematics mimicry, honestly, probably comes in first. Is actually probably maybe first, but I'm gonna say second because I need to defend furniture creation. So furniture creation in the exact same way that dough creation. If it had said creation, I would have gone with that. But furniture creation, realistically, you can make magic furniture. I can make a bed that gives me, a full night's sleep with 20 seconds of laying down. I can make a chair that, I mean, hell, you can go even further with this. I can make a chair that, is Thanos's, throne. I can teleport. Yeah, okay, this piece of furniture has the ability to teleport, anywhere in the universe instantly. It's Metron's, Mobius chair. You could make. I mean, this is pretty much. This is why I said this was my pick because my mind immediately went to that. And I still think that's completely correct. I'll be completely honest. This is my pick for number one. This is what I would take. And this is, to be honest, this is the correct answer. Yeah, mathematics mimicry almost stumped me a little bit. But I'm going to be completely honest. This stuff, I don't necessarily think all of this stuff is going to be in there as much as you think. Like quantum manipulation, physics manipulation. Again, it's kind of there, but you would really have to have an enormous amount of mathematical knowledge to be able to pull it off. And yeah, this would be a very skill heavy power to have and to use effectively. Whereas furniture creation is just imagination based purely. If you have this power, you can snap your fingers and make yourself, almost completely unstoppable within like, a day, really like a second. But yeah, I mean, you can pretty much make an enormous amount of stuff. Now, the downside to this would be that this furniture that you're making could be stolen, and therefore, your powers and other things that, everything else that you've gotten from this could be stolen and then copied by somebody else. But that's easy to deal with. You just, create furniture that has a limitation of only having extra effects when used by the creator, me. That's obvious. That's a pretty easy, yeah, like that's a very simple case of doing this stuff. I mean, yeah, okay, so I didn't even see this, but literally, okay, Anti-Monitor created the Mobius chair that Metron pilots. Yeah, didn't see that picture there. Just knew it. So yeah, clearly this is the best. Yeah. All right, so which one would you pick? 1, Dough Generation. 2, Mathematics, Mimicry. Number 3, Wire Proficiency. Number 4, Furniture Creation. The correct answer is number 4. All right, see ya.